Hey, I'm Nick Williams, and in this video, I'm going to walk through a face-to-face Medicare sales presentation, okay? Because a lot of people, they need help with this. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but a lot of people have trouble with it. And for those of you that already know how to do it, maybe there's a few pointers here that you can put in the mix for your presentation. I'm doing this presentation in honor of my good friend Scott Sims, turning 65 with Scott.com. Scott's the man. He's a quality guy, and I tell you what, one of the better agents that I've ever met in this business. Thank you for the t-shirt, Scott. I won't be wearing it around in public too much because, you know, I am still single, and I don't want to confuse those ladies thinking that I'm 65. You know what I mean? But let's get down to the presentation. First of all, I want to have my clipboard in my hand. The clipboard makes me look official. All right? I have telemarketing leads. I have direct mail leads, whatever it is. I'm knocking at the door. Let's say it's a direct mail lead. I'll simply say, I'd knock at the door. Okay, listen, I'm going to open up the screen door, get inside there, prop that screen door up on my butt, right? Let it fall on me. I want my bag, and I got my bag right here. I'll bring my bag and I'll put my bag right here, right? And so my bag's inside the door as well, okay? In between the screen door and the door. They open the door and I say, hey, I'm Nick Williams. You sent this direct mail piece in requesting information on Medicare insurance. They sent me out to see you. How's it going? And they respond like, oh, okay. Say, great, I'm just gonna take about 15 minutes of your time, make sure that that you're okay with everything. And I just bend down, pick up my bag, and you walk right in. All right, now that may sound simple, right? But some people have trouble there. You gotta do it the way I'm saying. You gotta have this forward body motion. If you sit back with that screen door shut, you're gonna have a problem right out of the gate, because even with the direct mail piece, and listen, for those of you that say otherwise, you simply are not telling the truth, or you just don't have the experience, okay? This is how it works. When you got that screen door shut and you got a direct mail piece and you're standing back and you're like, hi, you sent in a direct mail piece and they sent, and requesting information on Medicare. Hi, how are you? You know, we're like, they'll tell you, I never sent that in. It can have their signature on it. They'll tell you, I never sent that in. It's just the way it is, okay? So have that forward body motion. Get your body into that door. Get your body. Don't stick your foot in the door, you know. Don't be that it's not being the stereotypical pushy agent. You just give this person an opportunity to hear your presentation. Because sometimes the only difference between you getting in the door or not is because they are busy watching Judge Judy or divorce court, right? So just let them know, I'm coming in, you requested information, I've driven here, I'm here to help you, okay? So that's number one. Now you walk through the threshold of the house, okay? And when you walk in, you might see, it may have been the wife answered the door, and the husband sitting in there at the chair, right? You got to do it all over again. You got to do it all over again. It's, hey, how's it going? You know, you do another, hey, how's it going? It's another presentation. You have to show, you don't just walk in, hi, you know? You walk in with some energy. Hey, how's it going? Your wife sent that card in for the Medicare, and they sent me out. How you doing? And just find a good, look, I don't need to get to the kitchen table. I just need to sit down where I'm comfortable. This isn't rocket science, okay? I sit down and sometimes they will say, do you want to go sit at the kitchen table? Most of the time I'm a no on that. No, because I'm in control, all right? I tell them I'm comfortable right here. I sit down, put my bag down, and And I'll say to them, I'll say, you comfortable? Because I'm comfortable to sit right here. And they'll almost always to be like, yeah, I'm good with that. It almost just kind of sort of relaxes them, okay? And by the way, you do everything on a little laptop or an iPad. You don't need to sit at a kitchen table. There is reason to be there, but it's not yet, okay? If you're a good agent, you're strong, you know what you're doing, you have an authoritative presence, you know your facts, and you establish that you are the expert in the room. Believe me, you don't need to sit at a kitchen table, and this method will work for you. All right. Now, when you sit down, so now again, you're sitting down. What's the first thing that happens? You say, so how you guys doing, right? How are you doing? And now you could start off with that whole, well, my company, Super Insurance Medicare Benefits, we're a broker. As a broker, we provide we shop the market and give you the best products available versus those other guys that only sell you that one product that they have. You know, it's like these canned presentations. These people just look at you like you've got a third eye, you know? And it's not in the center, it's like off to the side. Because in the center would be the eye of wisdom. But they're not thinking that. They just don't want to hear this stuff for the most part. They don't want to hear some real professional. Again, when you're sitting down with them, they don't, come in, just relax. Relax. Hey, how's it going? Right? With some good energy, how's it going? And we're like, oh, okay, whatever. And are you guys healthy? That's a good place to start because people will always talk about their health, all right? People will always talk about their health. So you guys healthy? Do you take any medications or anything like that? You can start right there. So are you guys healthy? Again, you've exchanged a few pleasantries. You first said, so how's it going? And they'll be like, all right, whatever, and maybe chit-chat a little bit. I can't tell you how to chit-chat. Can't teach you that, but it's brief. So you guys healthy? And it's a good starting point. Excuse me, I'm drinking carbonated water. What's that sparkling water? It's gonna make me burp here. So listen, just relax. And so you guys healthy? Now I've got my clipboard. I've got a pen. I don't have a pen here right now, but I'm taking notes. All right. So you guys healthy? Well, yeah, we're healthy. I got a little high blood pressure or something. Okay. Now you started. What do you take for that? Metoprolol, lisinopril. What do you take for that? Okay. HCTZ. You might know that as hydrochlorothiazide, but you sound smart, right? It's all part of the process. Okay. They say, well, yeah, I got the high blood pressure, and you may want to at that time say, do you also take a statin drug for cholesterol? They'll be like, well, yeah, I do, because most of the time they do. If they got high blood pressure, oftentimes they're taking the statin drug. Again, it's a chance for you to shine a little tiny bit. Show them that you understand what you're talking about. You've been down this road. You understand these medications. You understand the picture. You have experience, and you let them know that. And then they may say, well, yeah, we also have, or they say we, and oftentimes it is a we thing, but I have diabetes, type 1 or type 2. Do you take the metformin or do you take the insulin? Oh, you take insulin. How many units? Are you under 50? You ask the questions that are important because those questions matter later on. So you want to go, and then listen, this conversation will take a long time. You can go to a video, Nick's Top 10 Questions, Medicare Millionaire, Nick's Top 10 Questions, and it will go into these questions, okay? Again, so what type of, you have diabetes? Do you take metformin, or do you take insulin? If so, how many units, right? What else you got going there, right? And again, this is taking time. Who's your doctor? Do you like your doctor? How long have you been seeing the doctor, right? You may find they don't like their doctor. What does that tell you? That later, if this presentation, which it's not, if they were to ask you about Medicare Advantage later, which you are not there on Medicare Advantage at this time, don't get Medicare Advantage leads, all right? I'm telling you, because you can't do what I'm telling you now if you have a compliant Medicare Advantage lead. Once you scope them, you're on a totally different track. You don't want to do that, okay? So, but what that does tell you, if they hate their doctor, if they just wish they had another doctor, now you know that potentially you have a choice if they ever ask about the Medicare Advantage and you scope them and then do a Medicare Advantage presentation, then you know that they were open to changing plans because they don't need their doctor, okay? Now, it might be a medicine issue, a formulary issue, but not a network issue. Again, assuming they don't have specialists that they needed that are only in the network that they would currently have, or if they were on a Medicare supplement and they went to the Medicare Advantage, that they don't have specialists that aren't in the network of a Medicare Advantage plan. So, said a lot there. But this is important. You need to be thinking about these things. Who's your agent? Right? How long have you had that agent? Do you like them? And by the way, when they say, well, I got an agent, most of the time you'll find out that the agent, that they don't really have an agent, somebody sold them insurance, okay? And tell them this. So here's how it will unfold. So do you have an agent? Or I like to say, who sold you that plan? Right, like that. Who sold you that plan? If they say let's say they have a Medicare supplement, a Plan F. Who sold you that plan? Oh, I got an agent. Okay, so what's your agent's name? They don't even remember it, right? So oftentimes, or maybe they have a refrigerator magnet. Go get it. Let me see that. Put it down there because eventually you're going to replace that magnet, and you would be ready to tell them that they don't need it. They can throw it away when all is said and done here. But at this point, it's like, who's your agent? And they say, well, I have an agent. They signed me up a couple years ago. I haven't heard from them since. I called them once, but I didn't hear back from them. Oh, so you don't have an agent is what you're telling me. Don't worry. I'm going to be your agent from now on, right? Don't worry. I'm going to be your agent from now on. Just tell them I'm going to be your agent, all right? So we're establishing an authoritative presence. By the way, always first name basis unless you're uncomfortable with it. If you're more uncomfortable with the first name thing, because some people it's just in their DNA to speak to elders in a manner in such that it's of reverence. I get it. But most of the time, I'm telling you, go with first name basis. And the reason is people do business with people they like, okay? And what are people you like? They call you by your first name, right? Normally. So I'm going to be normal. I'm going to call them Jack, Bob, Sue, whatever it is. I'm going to call them by the first name, all right? So, but again, we're moving forward. So we've talked about the agent. We've talked about the doctors. Again, why did you pick that plan, right? And then I want to keep going. I want to ask them more plans. Remember, no Medicare Advantage stuff at this point. No Medicare Advantage. And by the way, if you're getting Medicare Advantage leads, you need to stay on it. Get out your flip chart, right? Get out, or that PowerPoint that they give you, like WellCare or whoever, they give you a PowerPoint. Follow the PowerPoint. You can't stray from that too far. You can't sell them a final expense policy. You couldn't sell them an annuity. You couldn't sell them a lot of things because you're their own, and you can only talk about that Medicare product, that Medicare Advantage product, or that Part D product that you scoped them for prior to the appointment, unless you restart. They could ask about another health product, and you could rescope them. But why even make it hard on yourself? Just go ahead and just schedule a Medicare appointment. Get Medicare leads. Then you don't have to worry about all this nonsense, okay? Then when Medicare comes up, and only when they bring it up, you can say, we'll get to that. And then when you get to that, you would then say, listen, you requested to discuss that plan that has the food card. In order to have that conversation, I need to do what's called a scope of appointment form. And you do the scope of appointment form, but understand at that point, you've got to be compliant in that Medicare CMS guideline presentation, okay? Now, we are not there, okay? But let's say that you're moving along and you're now at the point where it's like you've had a conversation. But again, we've asked them a bunch of questions. We've asked them questions about their health, their medications, their doctor, their agent, right? Hey, do you get a good night's sleep? That's a good question, right? Do you get a good night's sleep? They might tell you about that CPAP machine they didn't tell you about previously, which is a big deal. If it's going to be an underwritten application for a med sup or something like that, that could uncover some other issues, correct? So, but it's just a good question. It's a good question to ask. Keep asking questions. Have a whole bunch of questions. And then, if you get to that point, usually you know what to do. They've told you. What I've just gone through is oftentimes a half an hour, 45 minutes of conversation. Because you've talked about their health. You've talked about their medications. They'll bring up the fact that their current drug card doesn't pay properly, or that they never got a drug card. And why didn't you get a drug card? You have to tell them about the Medicare Part D penalty and stuff. So you never know where this is going to go, but you got to ask questions, right? Keep asking questions. Again, check that video out. Nick's top 10 questions. Medicare Millionaire, Nick's top 10 questions, all right? So this is a long time. We're dragging this out because we want to discover. We want to do a fact finder. We want to know this person. We want them to tell us what they need. All right. That is strawberry mixed berry sparkling water. Okay. Now, I tell them when I'm face to face with them, I will open up this book, okay, the Medicare and You book. I'm going to go to the pages. I'm going to have the pages written down on the front so that until I know them by heart, I want them to be here. I want to go right out of the gate. I want to talk about your Medicare options. If I have to. So I want to progress. I want to keep moving. I go through all those questions. If I don't know what to do, if the story is not told in that sequence of questions, I can go to the book. And by the way, when I go to the book, I will ask them first, can you get your Medicare and You book? Ask them to get their Medicare and You book. And they'll go get it. And oftentimes they know where it is because it comes out about now, okay? It comes out around the Medicare, the AEP. If they don't have it, just say, that's okay. I think I got one in my bag here. Reach into your bag and pull your copy out and say, listen, I know you haven't read this thing from cover to cover, but I have. So I'm going to go in and address a couple things. I want to talk about the Medicare options. You know, that you get Part A, B, a drug card, and a Medicare supplement. Or that you get a Medicare Advantage plan. I'm not going to go into any plan-specific items, okay? I'm not going to mention any companies. They roll it all up into one plan provided to you by a private insurance company. In essence, the government is paying, Medicare is outsourcing your health care to Humana, to United Healthcare, or to WellCare, to any of these companies. All right, and then keep moving. You can talk about extra help. Do you get extra help? Again, this is important, isn't it? You need to know if they get extra help. You can talk about the asset component to extra help. And again, if you can't remember, you've written the page numbers down on the front of the book, okay? So when you get to the extra help section, it's going to tell you in order to qualify, you have to have resources below, and this is the 2022 book, resources for a married couple below $29,000. Do you have less than $29,000 in the bank or mutual funds or something like that? Do you have investment real estate, anything like that? What did I just do there, right? I asked them if they have in excess of $29,000. What might they say? Oh, well, we've got some, the IRA from, or they might call it the IRA. I got my IRA. But I don't touch that. That's got about $200,000 in it. I don't touch it. We got it down at the bank, and you just go, oh no. And they'll be like, what? What do you mean, oh no? Well, anytime somebody tells me their money's at the bank, I know that they're not getting any interest on it. And they may say, you're right. And I'm kind of annoyed about that. You tell them, don't worry. We might be able to do something about that. But let's focus on your Medicare. What'd you do? You planted a seed, right? They may want to talk more about it. Have a conversation. At the end of the meeting, you come back to that and say, by the way, you mentioned previously about that IRA down at the bank. The IRA down at the bank. Why don't you go get your statements and I'll take them back to the office and I'll get with the experts in there and we'll take a look at it and see if I can help you out with that. That's usually very effective if you make a sale, because when you make a sale, they trust you. You've made an impression. You've made a sale. They may have given you their checking information. It's no big deal. And listen, you just say, let me see your those statements. You can just take pictures of them with your phone now, right? I'm just going to scan these. Scan them, take pictures, and then I'll go through. I'll send it to my expert, and they will come back to me and let me know if I can help you out there. But listen. What I do is I tell them that, but I move fast. I don't want them to sit there saying, do I want to do that or not? Just tell them to go get them. And then say, I got time, don't worry, take your time, right? You do the same thing with final expense policies. If they say that, let's say you can't sell Medicare, you make the transition to final expense, you tell them, go get your policies, I'll review them. And then you put your head down and put your pen on your paper, and you got your clipboard right here, which you've been taking notes the whole time. You start doodling something on it, about this meeting, and then there's an awkward silence, and they go, well, I'm not sure where they are. They could be talking about their investments or their final expense policies, and you say, take your time. I got all day. And you just start doodling again. They'll get up and go look for them and go find those policies or that investment binder that they made 3-hole punch everything and put it in a 3-ring binder, okay? So, by the way, at this point, you know what to do. You have all the information you need. When you go through this book, you found out, the other thing that you want to do is possibly go back a few pages as need be. I think we are at 70. Hold on a second. Hold on one second. Here we are. You may want to go to the Medicare supplement grid, right? Where you talk about the Plan G, the Plan F, and stuff like that. It's all listed right here. Again, I reiterate, this is your book to the client. So this is what your book says. Keep saying this is what your book says. This is how your book phrases this. This is what your book says about the assets qualifying for extra help. This is what your book says about the Medicare Part A and Part B. That's on page 3 or 4 or something like that. Or 14, whatever it is. Actually, it is on page 4. So, and also on the previous page, about where the Medicare supplement grid is, it talks about these plans are standardized. They're all basically the same plan. Okay? Listen, you need to be relaxed. You need to establish an authoritative presence. You need to show these people you're pretty smart about this stuff. And if you can do those 3 things, if they like you, when I say relaxed, really, what I really mean is you're relaxed. You create a comfortable situation that they can relax, and they like you because you're not a drone, right? You bring a little bit of energy, you talk to them a little bit. Look, these people have seen a lot of presentations. They don't need nonsense, this real rigid presentation. They don't respond to that. I've been doing this a long time. Your best salespeople are the people that are good communicators, not good presentation readers, okay? Communicate, don't dictate, all right? And if you do this, so they like you, you relax, joke around a little bit, you know? They'll joke about Alzheimer's, you say, yeah, well, I got some timers, right? Sometimes I forget everything. Little jokes, you start little stories. You have little stories. If they say that their sister died of cancer, I may mention, both my mother and father both passed, and they both had cancer, and it was a direct cause of my mother passing, and my father happened to have a heart attack in the midst of being diagnosed with cancer. So it's just that a relatable story. And by the way, those are true stories. You know, I'm not making this stuff up, but I can communicate with them, interact with them, right? Create rapport. That's what I need to do. Then I need to show them I'm smart. That's where I'm talking about the medications. If they talk about a thyroid disorder, I may say, do you take levothyroxine? And they'll be like, well, yeah, that is what I take. Okay. And that's what almost everybody with thyroid disorders takes is levothyroxine. You just sound smart, okay? You know your medications. Go ahead and Google top medications for seniors. It's all right there. It'll tell you everything. Simvastatin, atorvastatin, lisinopril, metoprolol, metformin. It's all right there. So you can read it and study it. Know what you're talking about, okay? Anybody who's been doing this a while knows these things, okay, because of repetition. But get to know them and use this to your advantage, this knowledge that you've worked so hard for. Let them know you're a pro. And then, so that's the smart part, and then it's the authoritative presence, right? I'm an authority. If they start telling you how something works, go, no. I understand what you're saying, what the point you're trying to make, but this is how it works, okay? Let them know that you're in charge, all right? So if they're saying something that doesn't make sense, tell them, say, no, that does not make sense. This is how it works, okay? Again, I am not allowing somebody to waste my time and tell me bad information, right? Have an authoritative presence, all right? That's why I say, tell them, listen, here's how we're going to handle this. And I'll say, right now you have a plan. It's you've got an outdated Plan F. Your premiums have gone through the roof. They'll only get higher, okay? You can move to this Plan G and you could save a ton of money. By the way, not only will you save a bunch of money, but the inflation rate of a Plan F is much greater, or the rising cost of the Plan F, the premium is going to go up you at a much higher rate every single time, every single year than the Plan G. So it makes sense across the board. I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? And you pull out the app and say, first of all, you mentioned you have diabetes. You take metformin for that, correct? Is there any other medications that you take? And you're just into it. You're just into it. I need you to get your Medicare card. I need to see your Medicare number and your Part A and Part B effective date. And that's it. That's how it works. You know, you go through this. You tell them what to do. They'll respect you. Let me ask you this. Does it make sense for you to go in there and be all wishy-washy? Who wants to do business with a wishy-washy expert? If you're an expert, why would you not tell them what to do, right? So, you're the expert, act like it. And you'll be fine. When it goes to that Medicare Advantage stuff, you know, make sure that you've done all this other stuff first. Don't be giddy. And the moment they bring up Medicare Advantage, you go, oh boy, I'm going in. And then you find out that you messed everything up because the plan you were talking about does not have their doctors in the network. And you're like, oops. By the way, what you can do while they're talking, and you've never mentioned Medicare Advantage, you might want to look and see what Medicare Advantage plans their doctor is in. Now, some areas, like the area I'm in, you get to know the doctors and you know what plans they're in. In areas that have millions of people, that's tough to do. But in little pockets, you can still do that. So you get to know what doctors are in which plans. Nowadays, you can tell by the hospital system the doctor is in which plan that that doctor participates in, just because of the hospital network they're involved with. So not always, but often. So look, be easygoing. Bring a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of humor, a little bit of levity into the house. Be personable, right? So you establish first name basis, right? And then show them you're smart, know your medications, know the facts, okay? And when I say know the facts, you don't need to know all of them, and you might not remember exactly what the Part B deductible is, but it's okay. Just, if you just let them know that you have a deductible for your Part B expenses, and then everything will be covered at 100% with this Plan G. Meanwhile, you could be looking in the book for what's the deductible because you forgot. So, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, okay? You don't have to know everything. You can be 100% confident in the realm of what you know. And that's what you have to do. And you'll just expand on that. And by the way, you may make a mistake and fall flat on your face and make a fool of yourself. But that's okay to do so as long as you don't try to cover it up and you just say, you know what? I made an error, and fix it. Don't proceed not knowing what you're doing, okay? And then when you learn from these errors, then you'll be better for it, okay? But don't try to cover things up because you look foolish. They know when you've screwed up, all right? They can see it. You tell them, oh man, I made a mistake. I got to back up here. And guess what? They'll appreciate the honesty. Don't ever worry about anything, all right? Now, so you got to show them you're smart, and you are smart. You got a license. You've been certified. You've been AHIP certified. You've done more certifications for every company. You've done 5, 6 certifications. You've discussed this with all your counterparts in the business. You've been in and out of houses. You know what you're doing. Stop being timid. Not that you are, but many of you are. Many of you are timid, and that's just the facts. Now, the last thing again is have an authoritative presence. Be able to walk through this in a manner in which at the end you can say, here's the problem, here's the solution. I need you to tell me, again, with that diabetes, you only take the metformin, correct? Okay, now do you, because they may say, well, no, you know what, I take Januvia. It's Januvia, that's what I take. Oh, okay, now that might change things depending on what you're selling them, okay? So, but the point is, be authoritative, go for the close, tell them what to do. Don't ask them in a manner that's wishy-washy, okay? Help them make a good decision. If you walk out of there because you're weak and they fail to take action and help themselves, it's your fault. And if they have higher claims because you failed, it's your fault, right? So that should give you incentive to step it up a little bit. All right, I think that's enough for this video. And again, Scott Sims, you're the man.